Well, today provides us with the two toughest challenges we're likely to face in the Premier League this season. Arsenal and City occupy the top two spots, and remarkably, we've got two players on international duty for the first of them. We've also been dropping off a little in recent weeks, and now we're 4 points clear of the relegation zone with two awful fixtures coming up. I think the relegation scrap might finally be here. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 51 of Saving Southend with me, Daniel. We are back today to face Manchester City and Arsenal, the top two in the Premier League, still with their original managers 7 years on. And they are a mile clear of where we are at the moment. But today, our job is about staying in the mix because even if we lose these two games, the big advantage we've got at the moment is a far superior goal difference to the four sides below us. So today it is all about avoiding heavy defeats rather than avoiding defeats. And of course, you can see the two after that. We face Leeds and Sheffield United, which are massive games in the battle against relegation. So if you're looking forward to seeing how we get on today, two games in 6 days against top sides after two defeats in the last week, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. It does feel nice to finally be getting a challenge, I've got to be honest with you. I still think we should on paper be doing worse than we are, but maybe we're taking that Luton spirit and competing slightly above our level. So let's see if we can keep that up for this one. We'll start by having a look at the schedule because it's been a busy couple of months. And weirdly, we've got players on international duty in December. You were with me when Coventry, I want to say, yes, because we drew at Liverpool and then we lost at home to Coventry. Apologies, I've been on a weekend away. I've forgotten where we were. We've now played 6 Premier League games since. 4 of them have ended in defeat. And one of them has been the most remarkable victory, which we'll get to in a moment. But still, we played a couple of high-level friendlies during the international breaks because we had 4 weeks off and we needed to get involved. So help keep the fitness up against good opposition because we had, 4 players away on international duty out of a 20-odd man squad and everyone else had 15 players away. So we didn't really get any benefit from it. But we lost away to United. We went 2 down in 10 minutes, but we did then keep the score down with Joe Hugill. We're having to be quite careful here because I made a bit of a mistake. We had an under 21 game on the Saturday or the Friday, and I accidentally forgot to get half of them off it because they were building up their fitness, which is why we had no substitutes in that game. But we kept it respectable, which is all that mattered. We then lost by the same score at home to Tottenham. Mickey van der Ven scored early. Sam Ammo got, I think, his first goal on his return. But then we were beaten late on by Jonathan David, a great player who's come across. Away at Forest, a 2-2 draw, late heartbreak, but we went 1 down after 2 minutes. I would have taken a point. Fernandez and Santos against his former club getting a goal apiece, but in the end it was only 1 point rather than 3. The remarkable result though came against Chelsea, one of those ding-dong battles, and we managed to come out on top. We're actually 2-0 up in it and then got pegged back, but we were FMing them at that point. Then Joe Hugill popped up with a late one. We went ultra defensive and managed to cling on. And in the end, we actually had the higher expected goals. But for the most part, Chelsea were the dominant force. A great result, though. A brilliant day. And one that was necessary at the moment because without that, we'd be going into the relegation zone for sure today. We lost 3-0 away at Everton. Anselm sent off as a substitute. And then against Leicester, we lost by 2-0. And again, we were just struggling with fitness. That was 2 games in 3 days. We've now got another one 3 days later. And we've got to make our decisions here. We're going to have to start resting people soon. You can see against Leicester, the likes of Presley played. We also had a new signing in the team who we hinted at in the previous episode. So let's go and meet him because it's a bit of experience added to the squad. And it does give us that little bit of Premier League experience. And again, I'm trying to keep the Luton model with that. Because the player we bought in at the end of October, once his wages became available for us, was Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Joined on 17k a week with our top earners, a former England international, and most importantly, he's only got a contract till the end of the year, so it doesn't matter if he declines a bit physically. He's done okay for us so far. He's now up to full match sharpness, and he had been on trial before, which meant he built up a little bit anyway. But just a really experienced addition, and on that technical and mental side, we haven't got many players like that. That's what attracted us to Andre Santos on a free last summer and made us break our wage structure at that point. And the same here, to get a joint top earner at 33 and to break our sort of transfer model, it had to be someone like that. And Loftus-Cheek, I hope, might be the man who makes a difference in one game or two. But let's go and get through to the fixtures because we go away to City today. And if I show you what we mean by the fitness problems at the squad, we go to the team selection. There are 4 or 5 not quite making it. There are 3 or 4 on the bench nowhere near. And then, of course, there's 2 on international duty. Jayden Dan's coming back from an injury. And the sub-goalkeeper's been out as well. So we're short in a number of areas. We have got 6 days off after this one. But there's no doubt we're going to have to make some changes again. So let me go and pick our best possible 11. I might go for the back 3, but I'm looking at central defenders. And we've only literally got 3 available. And I don't see who we're going to play left back either. So we might be in a spot of bother. Back in a moment to run through the 11 that I think is going to be mauled at Manchester City. Well, I think you would describe this lineup as far from ideal, but we're basically throwing this game in the hope we can compete next week. Because looking at this one, we're on our 4th choice left back and our 3rd choice right back. A half-fit Kwanzaa alongside them. We've got Anselm back from suspension. Morehouse is the fittest sub and he's come back with 2 sub appearances after 3 months out. We've got young Walker on the bench who went on loan to Llandudno after we signed him in the summer. If I play him in this game, he won't be able to go out on loan the rest of the year because he'll have played for 2 clubs this season already. I'll try and avoid it, but I don't know whether we've got much choice because Goodrum and Perkins are the only 2 other subs that are fully fit. In terms of our lineup today though, there is strength in attacking areas. Bar Anselm, the front 6 is probably first choice, and that's the positive we have to take from this. So this is our lineup in full. We've got Daniel Rose in goal. Carrington and Cox are the fullbacks with Humphreys and Kwanzaa in the middle. Tanani and Anselm the wingers with Loftus-Cheek and Santos the midfield too. And then of course it's Hugill and Fernandez up front. I might have to offer Hugill out for transfer in a few weeks. He's out of contract the end of this year. He's still got his unhappiness about that accepted transfer bill last January. Just cannot get him to end it no matter what we do. He's flying in the league, he's playing well, his morale's all right. But at the moment, it's a big problem. So that's the team we've got against Manchester City. They've got a new gen striker who is as good as Haaland, basically. And they're going to embarrass us today, I think. So let's go and submit the numbers for this one. I will show you City star striker because it'll make you laugh. They've got so many about. They've got Joffrey Gilbert is the man up front. But adding to the quality they've got with a developing Rico Lewis and a few of the originals, they've signed the likes of Rayan Cherki, Gonzalo Ignacio, Regari at left back's a strong player. They've got quality everywhere. So let's go and have a look. We'll say there's no pressure on you. Just relax and enjoy it. Couldn't really think about playing a back 3 because we didn't have 5 fit defenders. But this is Gilbert the striker. He's going to become Haaland. He's 21. He's got the 18 finishing, 18 composure. I mean, he's elite already and he's still got plenty of development. It's going to be frightening. They've still got Phil Foden out on the left. Regari at left back at 27 now is world class. They've got Ignacio, who of course always becomes world class. This is going to be a very long afternoon, I would expect, because despite the fact we've lost a few games this season, we've managed to stay in games and not have many batterings. On this occasion, I'm not sure that's going to be the case because defensively we are very weak. And I know I got a couple of comments from regulars saying, do you maybe regret not signing an extra defender? Well, I didn't expect to be without 6 at the same time, to be honest with you, as Dan Rose picks the ball up in goal. Chance to throw out to the right back if he finds the option. Instead puts it down and passes it out with his foot. But 3 minutes in, don't want to be taking liberties at the back as Tanani finds Hugill, who loses it to Foden. Rodri inside to the midfield. Gilbert plays it to Gramoso. They've got 2 in the middle as well. Gramoso cuts back. Rodrigo. Gramoso. Foden. Great save, Dan Rose. 4 minutes in. We're time wasting already. We're slowing it down. But this is damage limitation. Shirky's got the corner. There's no one marking the edge of the box again. Gilbert heads in. It doesn't matter. Who cares if you're not marking the edge of the box if you can't deal with the front post corner? No one defending the front post. No one stopping that as the first man. And Gilbert heads in. It's 1-0 City. This is going to be painful. Well, nearly half an hour gone, and not only has it gone quiet since, but according to the match stats, we've almost levelled it up, which is both petrifying and very surprising. As Andre Santos plays wide to Cox on the left, a rare start for him. Didn't really get a game in a championship as Hugill's in. No way. We are not 1-0 at Manchester City with this team. Dan Cox, a makeshift League 2 level centre-half, has just whipped across in for Hugill. Oh, I'm going to miss that kid. I'm tempted to let him go for free at the end because he's so important to what we're doing. How are we dominating the stats here? You've seen the side we've put out. This is really frightening. We're probably going to lose this game, but the fact it's been competitive is almost embarrassing. The only thing we're really inferior in, is these set pieces where we've not got the height, we've not got the physicality. And at half time, it is Manchester City 1 at Southend 1. And we've been well and truly in this game. We've had the same amount of shots on target. The expected goals is similar. We've had more possession, playing a direct 4-4-2. Someone tell me what's going on here. We've got Tanani on the right struggling a bit. We've got Anselm on the left the same and booked. He got sent off in his last appearance. I've got to be careful. And Guilherme's playing in for City. It's a great goal. Wonderful goal. And that's the individual magic. But we've been far too competitive in this game. If we lose another, I can think about giving Kwanzaa a rest because he was struggling physically. Fernandes, you can see his shot. There's that corner to the edge of the box, but Santos nicks it. And it's cleared away downfield. And you've got to say, Santos and Loftus-Cheek have given us a bit of control in this game. We've kept the ball well. We've done okay. Hugill's given it away about 10 times up front. I'm not sure how his rating's so good. And these lads look devastated to be 2-1 down. If I was them, I'd be doing a party, Will. Here's Carrington out to Tanani. Inside to Santos. We couldn't, could we? Hugill has support. It's Fernandes. He's played onside. And it's tipped wide for a corner. I mean, we're playing really good stuff here. We've been far better than we were in the last two games, particularly the Leicester one where we were disappointing. And Tanani going forward is a real threat. His corner's poor though. And Ederson will take it. And if this ends, we'll make a few changes now. We've got the higher expected goal still. It is remarkable. Maybe says a bit more about that stat itself than my team. But for now, what can we do in midfield? Because we're going to need to bring on Morehouse for, I think, Santos, who's struggling a bit there. Morehouse has gone backwards a touch after that injury, which is a shame, but he should still improve. I'm sure he'll be fine. Both wingers will come off for Goodrum, and I think it's going to have to be for Perkins because we're a little bit light there. And I don't know who else I can bring on. Maybe I could bring on Sam Ammo, but he's struggling with fatigue. Centre half again, I want to rest Kwanzaa, but I've only really got Adeniji who's fit. And he can't play centre half. Neither can Carrington, who's 5'11". So I might have to give it another 10 and then just give Parks a few minutes. And then I'm going to do it. I'm going to bring Danny Walker on up front for Fernandes. A Premier League debut away at City. A ridiculous state we're in, really. And Kwanzaa and Loftus-Cheek are both now struggling. The fittest substitutes are Russell Denny and Adeniji. Do I bring Russell Denny in? I feel that might be the better option here. And we'll play Kwanzaa to 90 and then rest him from training a couple of days. Because he's someone who is going to be important for us. But with Parker coming back, with Humphreys being all right, it's not as important as controlling the midfield in these big games. As it is, though, we shouldn't concede more than another one here in theory. And I would have snapped your hand off for that at the start of the day. Although Danny Walker's got it, it's not going to happen, is it? Oh, Hugill's in. Missed time challenge. Joe Hugill. Oh my God, what is happening? It is City 2, Southend 2. The stats would suggest we deserve it. Danny Walker has got the assist. Oh, this is ridiculous. Right, we're going to have to time waste for the point because in terms of a relegation battle, this is huge. Fullbacks on to defend now. Both playmakers there. Support and defend. And we'll just leave it at that. I mean, we're already wasting time. We're already slowing it down. We can be disciplined, but I don't know what that achieves. We're slowing the pace down when we get it. It is an absolutely bonkers result if we get this. Danny Walker sets it up on his Premier League debut, and in the 90th minute, we go level at City. There are 5 minutes added on. We've dropped a cautious mentality. How about that? Somebody explain to me how that has happened. Is that extreme arrogance from City? Is it luck? You can't say it's luck because look at the stats. We deserve a point from it. I don't understand. Either I have got a team of the most gifted personalities delivering when it matters most, or there is something not quite right about this game, because it shouldn't be possible to do this quite so frequently. The spirit of Southend rises again, playing players who are third and fourth choice in their positions. Defensively, we're a mess. And we get a point. We stay 4 clear of the relegation zone after Brentford draw to Sheffield United. Coventry have got a game in hand. Bristol City have lost again. We're definitely not finishing bottom, are we? It's what happens with the rest from there up. But a remarkable point, now 6 days off. Let's see if Arsenal give us more of a lesson. Well, it's fitness test time 6 days later, and yes, we've got a few of the players back that we didn't have last time, and we've also had some great news off the pitch for the development of the club, but on it, there is a disaster or two, and this might be the one that costs us most, because we go over to the medical centre, we have just picked up a serious injury after all the others return, and it's the one man I feel we can't do without. You can see an injury behind my head for 7 to 10 weeks. Who is it? It's Joe Hugill. Basically the only man who's been scoring consistently at this level. Of course, it loses our opportunity to get in money for him because he's going to be out of contract at the end of the year and he's now injured the whole of January. Coincidence? I'm sure not. But the bigger breaking news is that Jayden Danns is not great in that position and Aaron Presley is the only natural there but isn't great as a Premier League player. They are our only 2 options to play target man now. So this could be a very difficult couple of months for us now, or maybe as soon as the January window opens, we have to dip our toes in and find a centre forward because that lack of goals could be the costly bit. For now though, good news off the pitch as well. We've got a few players back in spite of that injury and of course the fact that Anselm, who had one of those weird things again, he had a game suspension, came back and played, then got his ban extended after it. But either way, he's played the game we needed and now he's going to be out another 2. Morehouse played 25-30 minutes for the under-21s yesterday. He's building back up. Dan Cox hasn't quite made it after an injury either. If we have a look off the pitch at the club vision items, you can see there are further improvements to the training and youth facilities on the way. The club have agreed to expand the stadium by about 4,000 seats. That will take place at the end of the season and end in January. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that affects us because financially it's important. And because we were quite cautious in the summer, the bank balance is building as well, which is crucial because building off the pitch is more important than on it. And that explains the fact why I've gone for an increased number of scouts and coaches rather than yet more player additions. But we get through the social feed and through to kickoff now. It is 16th v 1st. We are the last game of the weekend. Unfortunately for us, Coventry lost, Brentford lost, and Bristol City lost as well. Probably not even worried about Bristol City now. It does look like, unless we can drag Sheffield United back into it next week, that it is perhaps going to be 3 from 5 or 2 from 4 if you take out Bristol City. And we've got to keep picking up those little points to try and keep ourselves away from it. We've mentioned it before. Arsenal, multiple years in, will always have a fairly familiar lineup because they've got a lot of great young players. When Area's made it through as well, they've brought in Claremont at left back, Sasana centre half. The rest of it you're all very familiar with. So let's go and see who we can bring in a team because 2 players out there, 3 in fact, a few players back at the bottom. Let's get our team picked. It should be stronger than the one that played against City. Well, a fun fact for you as we return to run through our 11. Mirko Tanani, been in awful form the last 5 games. We've given him a kick up the backside. He's now a wonder kid though, so may well become a star of football in the future. The rest of our team is a bit of a gamble. We're back to full strength in most areas. Lejnik is still in for Ishmael, who's on international duty. Brookin, of course, away on the right. Adeniji is back in though. But up front, I've done it. I've gone for Aaron Presley. He scored 2 goals this season, both off the bench against Bristol City when we were already 5 up. He's now going to play in the big one against Arsenal. The rest of the team, though, is about as strong as it can be. And this is the 11 in full. It is Dan Rose in goal. Adeniji and Lejnik the fullbacks with Parker and Kwanzaa at centre half. Tanani with a kick up the backside on the right. Sam Amo over on the left. Loftus-Cheek and Andre Santos again in midfield. Then Aaron Presley is in alongside Fernandez up front. A throwback to League One, that one. Let's see how we get on today. Russell Denny, the only fit player to miss out on the squad. But the bench is stronger than last week. There's no doubt about that. Let's go and get through to the Arsenal game and see if we can produce a miracle like the one in the first match. Well, Declan Rice is one of those returning for the visitors today, and while we might have pulled off a miracle against City, it would be some effort to do it twice in a row. We have had a few great home performances against the top side. You saw the Chelsea one, which was remarkable. But Arsenal are top by a distance at the minute. They've got a great side. They're developing so well. And if we win this one, I'll start to ask big questions again as Fernandes gets it on the left-hand side. He goes back inside to Lesnick at left back. He finds Loftus-Cheek looking to pass the ball. Does really well with it, but Lesnick up to Fernandes. Out left to Sam Ammo, who's back in fresh today. Down the byline he goes. Can he get the ball in? He does to Presley. Oh, this is becoming ridiculous. Sam Ammo crosses for Aaron Presley, who beats his man at the front post. Not even a target man header. Makes the run across the front post, beats world-class centre-halves in Saliba to it, and puts it in for 1-0. I genuinely don't know how to explain what I'm watching now. And that is a feat that is not often the case. As Gabriel Jesus goes back to Sasana, have we just angered them? Erdegaard switches to Martinelli, looking that way. Great first touch to the byline. Back to Clermont, into Ben White. Chance to shoot from the edge. He's forced wide. Good defending there. Sam Ammo, I think, working back. Martinelli's in at the back post, though, and he beats Adeniji. And it's 1-1, just like that. Two teams that have looked susceptible from crosses early on. We have Martinelli scoring a towering header at the back post and Aaron Presley glancing in at the near post to flick one in with a deft finish. Probably not the way you expected that to go, as Clermont goes wide to Martinelli again. Whatever happens now, we've had that moment at the start. You can't take that away. As Aaron Ramsdale, out to Sasara, a centre-half, into Clermont, over the top to Martinelli. That's where the danger's come in. Adeniji is not yet a Premier League defender, and my God is it showing. Kwanzaa can't stop him either, and Waneri puts it in. That was Championship defending against the Premier League side. There is no doubt in that. Kwanzaa should have just bundled it clear. He had a chance to hoof it 40 yards. And Adeniji, he got turned inside out. Not a good start to this football match for us defensively. But at 2-1, we're still in it and competitive as Saka finds White. I think we're seeing compared to City why this lot are top of the league by a mile, because they're just so dominant on the ball. Though Adeniji has nicked it from a mistake right on cue. He's got Tanani down the line, who he finds. Been in awful form, but can he produce the magic now? To the byline, crosses for Fernandes. Ramsdale tips it over. We're still a threat going forward. And without Hugo, I thought that was going to be the missing piece. Tanani puts the corner in. Kwanzaa's up, but Ramsdale does well. That's the one thing I think that's given us the chance, is we've got the threat going forward. Again, the stats, the expected goals, fairly similar. Yes, you would argue Arsenal dominant on the ball, but we've not been pasted by any means, and that's been the case all season. Most of our defeats been by the odd goal, been by 1 or 2. As Martinelli puts the corner in, it might get worse here. Headed away as far as Saka. He's got the man out wide again in Martinelli. 3 or 4 on the edge, but Martinelli yet again doing it alone. And this one's just wide. What a player he is in this game. Half time, 2-1 to Arsenal. We're in it again, we're fighting well. And we say the right thing, you're unlucky. Just do what you can. Though it's an Arsenal free kick just a few minutes into the second half. Dan Rose gives no chance by the shot. Off the post, it falls for Declan Rice. And he just passes it across goal. Really unselfish for Saka. He's onside, it's going to be fine. Or is it? No. Goal disallowed. Rice was offside. Right, from the original shot. 5 minutes gone in the second half. And after that let off, we're on the front foot. Adeniji putting an early cross into Sam Ammo. Definitely seems like the way this summer as Tanani goes back. Was Sam Ammo fouled? Not quite. Early crosses into the box seem to be the hardest thing to deal with. It's something I always do at the lower levels. Something that Luton do in real life, and I guess has caused problem as well. But it does seem to be having quite the influence. Though Erdegaard is doing the same himself to Martinelli, who has taken Adeniji out like he's not there. It's into Jesus. He looked close, but he's given onside. How has Adeniji got a 6.8 here? I genuinely love to know. Because he has been turned inside out about 1,000 times. And apparently he's still doing pretty well here. As we approach the hour mark, it is now Arsenal dominating and on the front foot. This is the one that could get ugly. We thought both might. And I think we take a point from this episode as a bonus, don't we? Because Martinelli again, back to Waneri. Martinelli, geez, what is he eating for breakfast? Look how good he's become. One of the best players in the world. He wheels away in celebration. Oh, he's on a comeback from injury, so he must have had some excitement to be in the team today. It is Southend 1, Arsenal 4. I mean, this is what I expected to happen. They've actually not played that well, but they've been so ruthless, and they've been a one-man team. So Goodrum will continue his injury comeback for Santos. Kwanzaa needs to come off. Bashir Humphreys for him. I don't know how Adeniji's rated that well, but he's the best fullback we've got. I will take Loftus-Cheek off for Smith as well. This is about giving people a chance. Jayden Dan's on for Diogo Fernandez. We can't afford to lose him as well. And with 4 subs made, we'll think about one a bit later as well. But half an hour to go. 4-1 down in a game we've not played that badly. But we've been well and truly done by a phenomenal team on the counter. And one phenomenal player in particular. Just over 15 to go. Tanani's knackered. Presley's knackered. Who do we bring on? I'll go Tyler Goodrum for Tanani. And we'll leave it at that. 15 remaining. I mean, you look at the stats. We've not done badly at all. But Arsenal, a dominant force. They're bringing on the likes of Tomiyasu. They've got real quality in this side. And the players we've brought in, Presley, who's happy to come in for Hugo, they're just out of steam at this point. As Ben White carries the ball forward to Kone and Saka, who's had a very quiet game, ironically. Jesus over to Martinelli, who's been anything but. He's on the left-hand side, cuts it back to Jesus, it's 5. There is the spanking we've been waiting for. Arsenal clinical. The Gabriel's doing their job. And we're 10 to go. We just want it to be over. Arsenal have only had 6 shots on target, but they've taken them all. Very much the opposite to what they've been doing in real life this season. Dan Rose has had a poor game. We're going to lose by at least 5 goals to 1. Goodrum's gone off with a knock. They've got a corner. It could get worse here, couldn't it? That point against City feels a long time ago. But ultimately, we expected 0 points today. 1 is a bonus. And a goal difference of -4 across the 2 games. Almost -5 there as Havertz hits the post. I probably would have taken as well. But Sam Ammo brings it away on the left. Can we get a goal? Maybe just bring it down? Doesn't look like it. No. A 5-1 defeat against Arsenal. A very clinical display from them. Not even 2 expected goals. And I said that because I thought they did actually play all right. But no reaction at all. A point against City. A massive bonus though. We stay 4 clear of relegation. We stay in a good position on the goal difference front. And you know what? That is a really special episode. To get a point off City with the team we put out, it's a remarkable feat yet again. However, we've now got a more important run of games coming up. Leeds, Sheffield United, Southampton, all in the next month or so. And then we're going to come back, I think, for the final game before the end of the window, which is Wolves, who are 13th at home. Could be a massive game as well. And then transfer deadline day just after. So that's what we're going to be back for next time. If you did enjoy this one, though, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know what you thought of the performances. A great result against City. But is that Joe Hugill injury going to be our undoing? Not having him feels massive at the minute. 8 goals for him in the Premier League this season. Nobody else has got more than 3 or 4. It's going to be tough from this point on. And I think we're going to have to dip into the transfer market. So let me know what you would do if you were in charge here. Do you think we can survive? We're averaging less than a point a game, but we're still 4 points clear. Is it going to be like that first season on Twitch with Luton, where we stayed up with 28 points? Let me know if you think we'll beat or match that score, or do you think we're going to be going back to the Championship? If you want to stay up to date and find out, then please do subscribe and make sure you turn that notification bell on. We'll be back in a couple of days' time with another big episode here, as transfer action is going to be the talk of the town. But in the meantime, if you want to stay up to date with everything else, we'll be back with the head coach tomorrow at the usual time. That playlist in the eye above if you've missed any of it, as well as our latest guide from Sunday. Make sure you check that one out, and the Twitch channel and football podcast up there too. Thank you very much for watching though. Your support is massively appreciated, and I'll see you back here next time as we look to keep above the dotted line with Southend and maybe add 1 or 2 bits of magic.